Afternoon, Clay County. I want to talk to you a little bit about why the Big Bang is such an important thing for the evolutionary atheists to hold on to, why they cling to it. There's really only three ways that we could be here. And talking about the entire universe, there's only three ways that we could logically be here. The first of those is that the universe has always been here. It doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end. And that makes it stretch into eternity, infinitely back, infinitely forward, and that's it was an idea that was made popular by a man named Fred Hoyle, and he was a big critic of the Big Bang. And the second way that the universe got here is it just popped into existence out of literally nothing, and that is a complete and absolute nothingness. And then the third way, of course, is that something external to the universe, bigger than the universe, made the universe. And of course that leads us to the idea of the creator. And so if we can eliminate Fred Hoyle's steady state theory, his infinite universe or eternal universe, and that leaves us then with only two ideas, the from nothingness, which is what the Big Bang deals with, or we have from the mind of a creator, that the creator is eternal and the universe itself has a beginning and an end. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about this idea of the eternal universe and something called traversing the infinites. And I'm going to do it with marbles. Let's talk a little bit about marbles. And what happens is if you have an infinite number of anythings, you set up a series of contradictions. And in our universe, which is a universe of laws, you can't have logical contradictions. It's not possible to have these contradictions. So if you can demonstrate that a paradigm or a hypothesis or a model is somehow setting up a contradiction or an absurdity, then you can discard that model. And so that's what we're going to do today with the steady state theory. And I want to do it with the idea of these marbles. Let's say I have an infinite number of marbles. And I'm going to give you all the even numbered ones, and I'm going to keep the odd numbered ones. And if I do that, how many marbles are you going to have? Well, you're going to have an infinite number of marbles. How many am I going to have? I'm still going to have an infinite number of marbles. And so what we have here is infinity minus infinity, the ones I'm giving you, equals infinity, the ones that I get to keep. The second scenario that I'm going to offer you is that I have an infinite number of marbles and I'm going to give you all of them. That means I don't have any. You have all of them. You have an infinite number. And so the second scenario is infinity minus infinity equals 0. And then the third scenario is I have an infinite number of marbles and I'm going to give you all of the marbles 5 and above. So if the marbles were numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up, starting with 5 and all the way up to infinity, I'm going to give you all of them, but I'm only going to keep 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so that scenario ends with infinity minus infinity. I start with infinity. I subtract out an infinite number that you're going to get, starting with 5 on to infinity, equals 4. Infinity minus infinity equals 4. So now I've got an absurdity here because I have a logical contradiction. I have what you might call an input variable that has more than one value. Infinity minus infinity equals infinity. Infinity minus infinity equals 0. Infinity minus infinity also equals 4. That's not logically possible. That sets up a contradiction. It's like saying that 2 is 2, 2 is also not 2 at the same time. And it's absurd. And in a universe like ours that is finite, it follows laws, all kinds of infinities, any infinities that we might encounter conceptually are logically dismissed. We have to completely ignore them, or we have to completely, not ignore them, but we logically say that this is not possible. We've somehow made a mistake somewhere. We've arrived at an infinite answer somehow, and we can't do that in our universe. And so if we arrive at an infinite universe in our thinking, like Fred Hoyle did, he said, well, the universe, maybe it didn't have a beginning. Maybe we've always been here, and that way we don't have to believe in a creator. Well, that was the conclusion that he arrived at. And so he said, from this point in time, looking back, we have an infinite number of events, we have an infinite number of seconds that have transpired and gotten us to this point. And in doing that and making that argument, he has set up this logical contradiction. And so we can eliminate this idea of the eternal universe. We can eliminate the idea of time stretching backwards and forwards into infinity. And that leaves us only those two options of either the universe came from nothing, which is the Big Bang, or the universe was created by something bigger than it, external to it, that's not subject to its laws, including time. It's not subject, whatever that creative force was, God, is not subject to time. So that's my short one for today. Kept it under 6 minutes. Hope you got something out of this. And as always, please keep learning. Y'all have a good one.